It's one thing to have a passion and dream, it's another thing to pursue it, and it's a whole another level to pursue that dream till the end. It takes a lot of consistency and intentionality. Now, here's my own experience on how I had this huge passion and love for a field that a lot of people, especially my loved ones, saw it as disadvantageous to me, and then being my biggest supporters now. A little backstory. While growing up, I had this huge passion and love for fashion, and a lot of factors actually contributed to it. But one of the biggest factors that contributed to it was the fact that I used to retail fashion clothes and items with my mom in her fashion shop. Now, this is a whole lot of experiences. While we were there, a lot of her friends would come to measure clothes. Some of them will not even come to buy clothes. They'll just come to, discuss, see how she's doing. But before you know it, they're doing one or two fittings into this item that saw so nice. And it kind of gave them a lot of confidence. And each time they wore this dress, it gave them a whole different, aura to it. And my mom used to be a very good marketer. There was this word she loved to compliment them. Each time a lady tries on a dress, she'll be like, my baby, you look so psychedelic. I don't think that's an English word, but well, my mom's dictionary was a word. And this whole experience of joy to people and how it made them feel like they were part of something. And I just knew at that instance that, okay, there's it for me. I am entering this field. I also want to participate in it. And I didn't just want to do it as a fashion retailer like my mom. I actually want to do it like a designer. Okay. The issue was I had no background knowledge on fashion. I had little experience or skills in it, but I just knew that I loved this thing and I wanted to do it. So right around that time in my area, we kind of had some crisis. So there was no school for a bit. And during that time, my mom actually had the idea of sending me to learn a hand stitching technique, which is common to my area, called the Togo dress. So I learned how to make this Togo stitches on dresses, and it was so nice because I saw how a blank fabric could turn into this beautiful piece that a lot of people used to pay for. And luckily for me, I was learning it at a tailoring workshop. So I had access to, little fabrics and how they'll make dresses and fittings and little things like that. I remember I used to pick some of these little clothes and then make it into handbags for myself. And then being the Christian little girl that I was, Sunday school time, I was always the best dresser. No, I'm kidding. I was not the best, but I always tried to look as good as I could. So this whole experiences just made me develop more passion for fashion. And as I got into the field, get to know it, started researching on Google, I found it more intriguing. But it didn't end there, actually. Now, this is where the problem started. I wanted to stop what I was doing because I was from the science background. I wanted to divert into the technical system where I can get to learn the hand making of clothes and things like that. But my dad was totally against it because he felt like you're already from a science background, so why didn't you just stick to it? And he wasn't even sure if I was just intrigued by the field or if it was actually my passion. So this back and forth between my loved ones and this passion of mine, we just kept on going back and forth until it hit me at some point. I was like, okay, Kendra, pause for a second. Are you just fascinated by this field, or do you actually love this thing? Do you actually see yourself doing it? And there was this statement that somebody used on me. The person told me that a career is just like a husband. You need to choose wisely because you'll be stuck with it for a very, very long time. So at this point, I was like, okay, you're choosing a career, something that you actually want to engage into for a very long time. So me being the Christian girl that I am, not was, I also felt that, who knows a product or a creation better than its creator? I mean, who knows a product better than its manufacturer? It's of course the manufacturer, not really the user. So me being a creation by God, I just thought that, okay, I should go and ask God, is this what you truly created me for? Or do you feel like I'm just fascinated by this thing for a very long time? So I actually dug in, started seeing, why do I want to do fashion design? Am I good at this? And luckily for me at that time, I got a lot of answers. I got a lot of convictions too. One of the things was that God has called gifted people into, well, a story that actually really helped me at that time was the story of the Israelites. When they left Egypt and got into the wilderness, God gave them a lot of tasks, right? And one of the tasks was to build the temple. This part of the book was actually very teaching to me. He mostly called the gifted artisans to do the housing. He didn't call those who were knowledgeable in building houses. He didn't call people who had maybe experience. He called people who were gifted. So at that point, I was like, Kendra, are you gifted in this? Or do you have some level of skill in this thing? And the answer was yes. So that ticked the first box. Now, the next challenge that I faced was that in my environment or where I came from, fashion is not exactly something which is so grounded. Like, it's not really something that a lot of people pursue. So we have little experience in this field. So I had to leave that environment. But leave to where? Leave how? Is something I was not also sure about. So the next challenge I had was that, how do I actually get to pursue this dream? And I also had a lot of conviction still from the Bible, still from the book of Exodus, telling me that he's going to send an angel before me to guide me and to lead me till my destined end. Just like he used the pillar of cloud and the pillar of fire to guide the Israelites in the wilderness until they reached the end. Even though it was their promised land, they didn't know the road, but that cloud, God actually directed them there. So I was like, oh, fine, God, you got me in that. You're going to direct me. The next problem I had was, how do I actually go about being a fashion designer? It takes a lot of creativity, it takes a lot of skills. And these were things that I had to some extent, but I wasn't exactly sure if I had it to the extent of pursuing it as a career. So God convicted me still from the book of Exodus that he's going to give me all understanding, wisdom, and arts of workmanship in this area. So that actually cleared my doubt. And I was sure at this point that I was not just passionate about this, but to some degree, I have been called to do this. The next problem was I had to convince these loved ones of mine who saw it as a disadvantageous field to me that I'm pursuing this dream. And the truth is that I actually thought of trying to convince and talk to them and show it and prove to them. But something just came to my mind that if this actually was a field that God has meant for me to pursue, they will follow. They'll come behind. So luckily for me, after some time, everything just started falling into place. My parents were like, okay, fine, girl, if you want to do this, we have our full support. My sisters, my siblings, they kept on encouraging me. And before you knew it, everybody was on board. Okay. This side of the journey was okay. The next issue was, where am I going to? Around the time when I was graduating from high school, I had the opportunity to study in China under scholarship. But then coming to China is another thing, okay? Because I did not know the language. I was not familiar with the people. I was clueless about this area. And it was the only familiarity I had towards them was the fact that I used to watch Chinese drama. The rom-com that we used to watch, And my favorite of them was Boss and Employee Love Story. Okay, that aside. So I had the opportunity to come to China to study fashion design. My first year of coming, I couldn't actually study fashion immediately. I had to do language. And I actually spent 2 years back and forth just being in between language, home, trying to pursue fashion and things like that. So 2 years of my life was kind of put on halt towards this dream of mine. And the truth is that it was not exactly an easy journey or an easy path for me. But one thing that kept me going was my love for it. I just knew that I had to be in this field. Like, if I was not in this field, there's no other space that I wanted to be in. After some time, I got my admission into a fashion school here in China. And luckily, I've been studying that for 1 year already. And it has been going amazing. The truth is that I'm not still as skilled as I want to. I'm not still the best in the room. I'm not even the best in my class. But I am sure that this is the environment, or this is the space in which I want to be in. Okay, so that's my own experience on how I left from being passionate about something to actually pursuing it. And this is just a whole journey that has showed me that I actually had to be so determined about what I wanted, because life has a way of actually tossing people around, okay? It has a way of putting you in an environment where you don't actually want to be, in an environment where it's not actually your purpose. I don't know, it just has a way of doing that. But it takes a lot of intentionality as a person to actually pursue that passion of yours. So to those people out there, my passion pursuers, chayo, courage, okay? Keep going. Now, to those of you who are thinking of giving up, or those of you who have already given up, in fact, to those of you who do not even intend to pursue your passion, now this is for you. Like I earlier said, life has a way of tossing people around. You need to be intentional about pursuing that dream of yours. I feel like it is way easier pursuing, because life is difficult already on its own, but it's way easier pursuing a career in what you're passionate about, because when you're facing those challenges or when you're facing those troubles and problems, it is that passion that keeps you going. It's that love for the field that keeps you going. I remember when I first came to fashion school, the truth is that I had zero in drawing. I was terrible with sketches. I was so terrible with sketches that I remember when I was young, I used to use a ruler to draw a garment. Like, who does that? But when I came here, I was still as terrible. But the only thing that kept me going was the fact that I just knew that I wanted to become a fashion designer. And if sketching is one of the things that I need, then I have to do it. Okay, so when those challenges come, it's just the passion and the love for it that keeps going, that keeps you going. And life is already so tiring. It's already a lot of suffering in the world. So why don't you just suffer in what you love doing? Now, the next thing I can say is that I know that to some degree, we are always faced with pursuing a career that has money and pursuing our passion. I don't know why it's like this, but my experiences, okay, my short lifetime experiences have shown me that this is always the two roads. It's like you have to choose between these two things. But I won't exactly say that just pursue a career or pursue your passion because it makes you happy and things like that. Always look for how to make money, because at the end of the day, you have to be independent. You need to learn how to take care of yourself and fend for yourself. But so always look for how you can monetize this passion of yours or make money out of this passion of yours. So that way it's way easier to pursue the passion. But if you feel like your career or your passion doesn't exactly give you the money you want, that's still okay. Make the money, but I'll never say just give up on your passion, okay? Because it's something which has been embedded in you. And I also realized that passion is just an extension of your skill, your gift, your talent. You know, like all these things, your experiences kind of stems into your passion or what you actually see yourself fitting into. And if you disconnect from that part of yourself, I feel like that's a whole universe that you're disconnecting yourself from. Because it's only when I discovered that I had a passion for fashion, or in my journey of pursuing fashion, that I started learning how to do other things which are not exactly so fashion related, but they're kind of the means to the end, which the end is, you know, the fashion. So, and I've gotten to learn these skills that has really helped me pursue that end, if you get what I'm saying. And another thing I've realized is that most of the times when you're pursuing your passion, the people you love are not exactly always in support of it, but that's okay. From my experience is give it time, okay? The people will fall in place. If it's what you're called to do, then give it time. And sometimes go about it with wisdom. So not just try to force that passion and always telling your parents, you want to do this, you want to do this, you want to do this, fighting your parents and all that. If you need some certain level of independence, or then just wait, okay? Wait for that time when you're fully independent and you can pursue that passion on your own, that you do not need your parents' permission to do it or whoever is stopping you to do it. But one thing I can certainly say is do not just give up on that passion of yours, okay? Invest in it, put some energy into it, and you realize that there is so much joy, there's so much love, there's so much fulfillment into pursuing what you actually love, what you're actually good at, than just pursuing something because of the money benefit. Pursue money, yes, but do not let that stop you from doing the things you want. Actually, use the things you want to generate money. I was always so fashion obsessed that my friends could see it. Everybody notices it. There's no way you could come around me and you will not know that Kendra loves this, okay? I was just so obsessed about the field. I remember I had these amazing friends in high school, and we'll always stop at the junction because their houses, we just kind of lived in a triangle. So we always stayed at the center, and we just kept on ranting and talking about how we're going to pursue our passion. I always had a passion for fashion. My other friends had one for food processing, and another one had for skin. She wanted to do, cosmetics and things like that. And we always just rant about how the future is going to be like when we'll get into this field and the dreams coming true and things like that. I'm so happy that my other friends also got the opportunity to pursue it, because it's not generally easy for my field. It was not common in my country. It was not so grounded in my country, so I had to leave home. For my other friends, they had to write the government exam, and passing this exam was not actually very easy, but I'm so glad that they decided to, go with the challenge, and they kept on pursuing it. And each time we sit right now to talk, we always express how fulfilled we feel pursuing these things that we love. Okay, it's so fulfilling, it's so satisfactory, especially when you see yourself living from just talking about it to actually having skill in it. And I've also realized that most of the times your passion ends up being your legacy. That's mostly what you leave for other people to see, because it's mostly an extension of what you love, and it's mostly what people can connect to. So your passion could also be your legacy, not just a career. Okay, so seek to also pursue what you love, because it could be your legacy on earth and not just a career part of yours. This has come to the end of my little experiences. This is open mic, and this is where we get to share our experiences in similar fields. And I would love to listen to everybody. What have you been passionate about, and how is that journey going for you?